Return to Kamino is the title of today's 15th episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch, airing on Disney+. So this is part one of a two-part finale, and my goodness, round of applause, man. Like, wow, this is, wow. I've had my complaints in like some of the previous episodes, but man, none here. Absolutely none. This episode is 5 stars, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to give it this positive, bro. No, I'm not complaining about this one. This episode just kind of shines a light on how I kind of wish that this season was just much shorter, much more concise, cut out a lot of the filler episodes and just get straight to the point, because I feel like if you just watch the essential episodes, this episode will hit even harder. Oh yeah, also the show got picked up for a second season. They announced that like yesterday. Kind of wish they announced that after the second part of the finale released, so you know the emotional parts would hit here, because it's like, oh wow, who's gonna make it? But it's like, well, I mean, somebody's surviving if we're getting a season 2, so I mean, some of that suspension was killed. But yeah, man, like, oh my gosh, Crosshair, MVP in this episode. Man, we got to learn a lot more about him. You know, he says his chip was removed. You know, I don't know if he was fronting or not, maybe he was telling the truth, but hey, apparently all these crazy actions that we've been blaming on the chip for the past few episodes, nah, he's like, nah, that's all me, dog. That was me, bro. Like, y'all turned on me, so yeah, I shot a couple people, so what you gonna do about it? It was like, there was this underlying tone of like, okay, Crosshair's hurt. You know, he's hurt by his brothers. They turned on him in his eyes. They went against him. You know, he didn't go against them. They went against him. That's how he sees it. And I don't know, learning more about his viewpoint in that, it was very interesting, because I think we've just been looking through the lens of the Bad Batch's perspective, looking on the whole Crosshair situation for the past few episodes. It has been like, yeah, he's the bad guy. Like he's okay. He's not a bad guy. He's a brother turned bad, making him a bad guy, I'm sorry. But yeah, you know, last week's episode, we were forced to have Hunter and Crosshair together by the way that last week's episode ended off. So, you know, I was excited to see what conversations came out of that. I was excited to see what scenes would come from that. And I had all of these scenarios playing in my head of like, okay, so how are they going to carry this out? What are they going to talk about? Since the last time that they have just talked, you know, had a conversation like they did at the beginning of the series. And they could have so easily fallen into the trap of just have them fight. And I think that was one thing that I was very afraid of. And we got a cool action sequence, yeah, but there wasn't a point where I was like, okay, the action's going to take over an emotional beat here, which, hey, it's something that I praised the show at the very beginning for. And it feels like the show's getting back to its roots. I know this is still the first season and it's just like the 15th episode, but it's getting back to what made me fall in love with the show in the first place. Granted, it's one episode, but it's the finale, and I know that they're treating it with a sense of care that a lot of the filler episodes did not receive. And I said it last week, I called it, they could totally make up for it in these last 2 episodes. Maybe looking back, it's like, hey, you want these nice filler episodes, you know, before we get into the nitty gritty stuff. I'm still in the camp that I think that the overall season would have benefited from more of a story focus and adding on to building up to this finale, but it doesn't really hurt. You know, like overall, the finale stands strong. Part 1 of the finale stands strong, even with the filler episodes serving their purpose. Okay, let me kind of rephrase what I said earlier about the filler episodes before, you know, it's taken out of context. Well, I mean, it was taken with context. I just worded it stupidly. I didn't mean to say that the filler episodes didn't have care taken into account, you know, when they were made. What I meant to say was the finale definitely has a different sense of care put into it compared to the type of care that went into the filler episodes, right? Like the amount of, not the amount of care, the type of care had to be different due to what each episode had to serve. I don't know if that made any sense, but just roll with it. Didn't it feel good to see the boys fighting together again? Like the whole crew, including Crosshair. Sure, it was against a bunch of droids, but like seeing the Bad Batch together again with the theme blasting, nice little touch there. That gave me chills. I was sitting up there hyped. This episode had my full attention. I'm tired. I was up here at 2 a.m. watching this episode. I didn't care. I was hyped up. This show gave me energy. I'm tired recording this, sure, but when I was watching it, I didn't feel it at all. I was too hyped up. Now, aside from that, it's cool. It's cool seeing the characters return from the previous episodes. It's cool seeing the team back together, you know, finally getting back into the swing of things. But dude, when I tell you the destruction of Kamino hurt me way harder than I was expecting it to. Like they showed these like single shots of empty spaces. It's like, wow, this place has been here, Star Wars history for a long time. It's Attack of the Clones, man. And then it's going throughout it and Clone Wars and then the beginning part of the Bad Batch. And it's like, wow, to see that all come to a head and just be gone like that. It was crazy. It was crazy, and the score just swelling, and you don't know what happens. That's it. That's where the episode ends. We don't know what happened to the Bad Batch who survived, if there are any injuries, if anyone died. And I think it's very, very cool. You know, like, I have no idea where the finale's going. I have no idea how they're going to get out of this. I don't know if everyone's going to live, if someone's going to die. If anyone dies, I do have a couple of ideas. I think it'll be either Hunter or Crosshair. I think Hunter is the more risky one that I don't really see them doing, just because, like, I think it would work emotionally and it would really hurt, but I don't think Disney would go through with that. Maybe I'm wrong, but if he sacrificed himself for Crosshair, that could be a really, really heavy hitting emotional beat. And then, like, going into season 2, Crosshair takes Hunter's spot on the Bad Batch. Imagine that. Or Crosshair, in a last ditch effort to save his brothers, you know, to show that he still has good in his heart, maybe he sacrifices himself so they can get away from the Empire. You know, the Empire sees Crosshair as a traitor now. Even better, Crosshair looks at the Empire as traitors, like, yo, I was still in here and you just blew up Kamino, bro. You didn't care about me. You know, I'm going back to my boys. And then the situation comes down to where he has to sacrifice himself for the boys to get away. And it's like, oh man, that good old Crosshair is going to be one of those two. That's what I'm putting in. If I'm right, I'll cheer. If I'm wrong, so be it. But yeah, man, solid episode. Better than solid. This was freaking amazing. Leave your theories down below. Comment away. What did you think of the episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? That's not an option, so don't even type it. This is your last chance to theorize and all that good stuff. One more episode left, 1 week to go, then it's goodbye Bad Batch for a while. I was gonna go on a tangent about how sad I am that we're getting at the end of the road and all that good stuff, but I think I'm gonna save the waterworks and the big thank you note for after finale part 2. So until then, get out of my face. Love you guys. Thank you guys for watching so much. Always thankful for you all who drop in, enjoy the video, interact on it, share it around, all that good stuff. You know what to do, and subscribe if you're new and you want to check out all of my videos and all that good stuff. I've been Geekly, you've been awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the final Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 1 review. May the Force be with you.